Evening, everybody. I'd like to sort of second Mark and Peter's comments. I learned a lot of the same sort of things in terms of scientific method and so on, the sort of attention to measurements and that sort of thing. I guess what brought me to the audio research group was similar to Mark's process. I sort of came out of an undergraduate physics degree, and I felt sort of like a jack of all trades and master of none, so I need to specialize in something. So I said I might as well pick something that I'm interested in, and at the time it was music. I was very passionate about music, and I like stereo equipment like a lot of young kids do. And so one of the first things I did at Audio Research Group is I used Peter's Commodore computer program and learned about crossover networks, and because I'd blown up a pair of speakers and I wanted to fix them. So it seemed like a good way to jump in. And along the way, I learned a lot about speaker measurement. John was showing the sort of setup in the lab and taking a near field measurement and a 1 meter measurement and splicing them together. And my research topic was on capstral editing, signal processing to post-process measurements and remove reflections from the measurement and edit out the reflections and get a clean anechoic low frequency result. So that sort of got me involved in working with the good old Nicolay dual channel FFT analyzer and pulling data out of that and writing basic programs to calculate FFTs. And when you start doing things like that the hard way, you learn a lot about signal processing and speaker design, crossover networks, and so on. It served me very well through the rest of my career as a speaker designer for JBL and L-Acoustics and Adamson at different times in the past, and as well just the sort of measurement approach that I take in tuning sound systems in rooms. It's using editing techniques and signal processing, adaptive windowing, and so on to get a good picture of what the direct sound is, and still get a good idea of what the low frequency is doing in the room. So it's just this sort of overall approach and philosophy and just the sort of the attitude and the sort of questioning of results and measurements and so on, and the value of ABX boxes. Those were all things that were impacted on me at the Audio Research Group. And as well, one of the things I guess I could say I'm sort of proud of in my career is doing a lot of training and teaching on behalf of different companies. And I've always tried to take the spirit of enthusiasm that John and Stanley communicated to me and try to pass that on to different people who've been through, say, the VDOS training programs or the Vertec VTX training. It's a question of being passionate about what you're doing and trying to pass that on to other people. And that's something I really got from my time with John and Stanley. And as well, I guess I could say, going from, small sort of format loudspeaker measurements and working with Stanley, going along on some of those chamber music recordings and working with the radio station. That's sort of what led me to meet Perrin and Peter Moore and George, and I met a whole new circle of friends that were passionate about audio, and something that sort of became was a hobby in some ways, sort of became an avocation. One of the bands that I was working with on sort of independent alternative projects started to become successful, and they started touring, and I would go along as a friend just for fun. And but then I got interested in sound reinforcement and big PA, big speakers instead of small studio monitors, and I got bit by the big sound system bug, and sort of a funny path that led me to that. But I'd say that's all thanks to Stanley. So here we are today. It's been an interesting career, 8 years with JBL now, and 8 years in France, living in Paris, working for L-Acoustics, and before that working with a sound company in Baltimore with, through those past 20 years or so, working with some of the biggest artists in the industry and helping support them on tours and different situations. It's been a lot of fun, and it's been a kind of strange career path, but it's all thanks to the audio research group for putting me on that path. So again, thanks John and Stan, and to everybody for coming out.